We can all agree music is vital in any game, whether it's Doom with its adrenaline-fueled metal or Red Dead Redemption with a mix of soft and intense tracks to accompany all your cowpoke activities. One game that has always stood out to me in terms of its score is the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Skyrim is a role-playing game ingrained in gaming culture made by developer Bethesda Game Studios. With an expansive open world, varied factions of different ideologies and unique challenges, all of which are ready to be explored. But what stuck with me through my first playthrough at 11 years old, and now at 21, is its powerful soundtrack. It was composed by Jeremy Soule, who took the classic Elder Scrolls music and gave it a more barbaric tone to match the Nordic-inspired lands of Skyrim. Soule had composed for over 60 other games, including the previous two games' music, Oblivion and Morrowind, creating iconic tracks such as Nerevar Rising, arguably the most iconic song from the series. Soule used Nerevar Rising and other previous game tracks as motifs in Skyrim's soundtrack, evoking a sense of nostalgia for fans, myself included. As a whole, the soundtrack feels like it was made in the world of Skyrim itself. You could easily see the chants and medieval ballads being composed by a skald wandering the land, which really made it magic to me as a child. The title song, Dragonborn, was the first song composed for the game by Soule, and impressed the game's director, Todd Howard, immensely. It cleverly layers several recordings of their choir to create the illusion that hundreds are singing in this chant in the name of the Dragonborn, our player character. It sets the scene for the land of Skyrim before we ever step foot in it. It heavily borrows parts of Nerevar Rising as its main theme is the same melody. It opens with the taiko drums, various string instruments, and the iconic male chanting. These elements are quickly joined by a lively trumpet, giving the piece a surge of energy. Skyrim's narrative is accompanied by its soundtrack, and at every step of your journey as the Dragonborn, or Dovahkiin, Skyrim's last hope against the evil world leader Alduin. Skyrim's famous opening scene has you awaken slowly on a carriage, bound and seated alongside the other prisoners. This scene is the first taste of the score coming in naturally, as we hear the aptly named Awake play softly, dipping in and out as we the player get our bearings in this unfamiliar world. The track opens with several strings, then introduces the timpani as it plays motifs of the main theme, Dragonborn. Its simple use of two chords gives way perfectly to the title reveal, making it one of my favourite intros in gaming. The intro continues as it is revealed we are to be executed by the Imperial Legion, as we were unlucky enough to walk into an ambush meant for the Stormcloaks, their rival faction. Here the tone is lowered as the future becomes uncertain, with lower notes on string instruments letting us feel the desperation in the air. Just as our head rests on the chopping block, the low tune is interrupted by the reintroduction of the timpani from the main theme, Dragonborn, as we see a dragon swoop into frame. Alduin, the war leader, has returned after millennia, heralding the ancient dragon's return. A chaotic scene ensues, we escape, balls of fire land around us, and we have a chance to escape with the choice of two unlikely allies, a rebel stormcloak or an imperial soldier. We fight our first dragon of the game in defense of the city of Whiterun, where the track Death or Sovngarde comes into play, overtaking one of the many ambient tracks Soule intersperses throughout our travels. It boasts a full orchestra with a quick tempo and heavy use of rising scales, elevating the tension of the situation. There are light male and female chanting vocals throughout the piece, speaking the dragon language, hitting both high and low notes. All these combined with a fast percussion beat, dips in action for some breathing room, and a cacophony of brass instruments, such as the trumpet, all make for a brilliant soundtrack to the first major battle. Later on in the story, we are called to meet the Greyboards, a secluded group of monks who study the art of the dragon shout. We are told this is a great honour and must climb the 7,000 steps to their temple called High Hrothgar. The climb is arduous and fraught with danger, as seen as a pilgrimage by the local Nords. The accompanying track, 7,000 Steps, uses a mix of strings and brass instruments to create a slow melody swelling over time, mirroring our lonely journey to the top. The silent monk's home is mostly absent of music, except for light, ambient tracks such as Tundra and Frostfall. While not unique to this section of the game, Frostfall in particular has always been a favourite of mine. The use of cello and other low-string instruments with light, high-pitched flutes, accompanied with a harp being gently plucked, really makes it embody wandering in an ethereal place such as Skyrim. Atmosphere is one of Skyrim's main strengths. Regardless of janky bugs or simple combat mechanics, the game immerses you so heavily in its world you lose yourself completely. Jeremy Soul's soundtrack plays a vital role in this, whether you're listening to the unsettling shadows and echoes in a dark cave with its use of shrill violin, or resting in a town with the more cheerful ancient stones with its harpsichord and piano assuring you can let your guard down. Soul actually used the pencil to strike the strings of the piano in ancient stones, giving it an incredibly light tone. Continuing our narrative, we are sent to an ancient crypt to retrieve a relic of the monk's order. Unfortunately, someone got there first, leaving only a note asking us to meet them. Our trip was not in vain though, as we were able to hear more of Soul's ambient music for cave and crypt diving, which just exude atmosphere. One called Silent Steps is a favourite of mine, as the melody seems to echo off the walls through light use of percussion instruments like the timpani. The low male vocals sound like a religious hymn protecting the tomb we are walking past, and if we're honest, looting for every septum. Once you meet our mysterious admirer, they reveal themselves to be a member of the secret organisation sworn to the past Dragonborn called the Blades. It's a great opportunity for the introduction of diegetic music. Songs such as Around the Fire use a collection of instruments traditional in old medieval music, such as the lute and ancient flutes, all of which were used in its recording. Its polyphonic melody will be performed by an apparently very talented single bard, which the surrounding NPCs happily dance along to. We help the Blades unlock their ancient temple and learn how the ancient Nords defeated the dragons. They use the dragon short that rends the dragon's souls. Pretty metal. Skyhaven Temple is mainly full of ambient cave noises, the absence of sound showing us how abandoned the place is, where just our own voices from the characters break the white noise. After a few more quests, we were able to learn this shout through use of an Elder Scroll, a powerful artifact that allows us to see the past. This usually renders the reader blind, but we are Dovahkiin, so naturally we have plot armor. Unfortunately, the big bad, Alduin, appears and attacks, clearly knowing we are getting too strong. During the fight, one of the various combat tracks will play, with Watch the Skies a favourite of mine here. It has immediate use of heavy percussion, a fast tempo and awe-inspiring chanting that sets the scene for our first clash with the main villain of this world. Skyrim's music during gameplay is often chosen at random, based on cues such as exploration, tavern and combat, which may play songs such as Frostfall, Around the Fire and Death and Sovngarde respectively. The system works due to the large amount of choice of tracks available for the game to play at any given moment. The Explorer queue has over 20 tracks to choose from at any given time, and that's just from the base game released in 2011. Soul's ability to produce such a wide variety of tracks for the same setting while making them all to such a high standard is a testament to his ability as a composer and creative. Now at this point in the story we have an issue. Every time we defeat Alduin, he simply goes to Sovngarde, consumes the souls of the heroes to regain his strength. He uses a portal only dragons can use, so our logical next step is to trap a dragon and ride it in. Obviously. The Keep of Whiterun was luckily built by the ancient Nords for this purpose. Whiterun's keep has an accompanying track, Dragon's Reach, that really adds to the beautiful Nordic-inspired Great Hall. The piece uses low strings like the cello and taiko drum for a grandiose yet understated feel. The structure and the track both emanate power, but also warmth. It's a slow melody that takes its time and leaves you space to absorb both the audio and visuals, creating an unforgettable atmosphere. After trapping a dragon named Odoving, we are able to persuade him to take us to Sovngarde. This allows us to have our final confrontation with Alduin alongside 3 Nord warriors who fought him initially. The fight is beautifully scored with the track Sovngarde, with the lyrics being in the dragon language of the ancient Nords, quite literally singing our praises and encouraging us to finish the fight with the World Eater. The heavy use of drums make the whole piece feel like a march to war against this sworn foe. The song includes motifs from the main theme, Dragonborn, which has been playing at the title screen as well as during several previous battles. The track itself feels like a culmination of our journey, the manifestation of our destiny as the Dragonborn. The highs and lows in intensity mirror the fight itself, where Alduin retreats several times and must be grounded once more by the 3 heroes and us using the Dragonrend shout. We land the final blow against Alduin, and after a long journey we finally restored peace to Skyrim and our people, the souls of Sovngarde are once again safe, and we've achieved our destiny. Skyrim as a whole is an unforgettable experience, and I hope we can now see that it wouldn't be the game we know and love without the carefully crafted soundtrack by Jeremy Soule.